7. We start with talking about Shiva City. As far as town goes, Shiver City, other than Toad Town, might be my favorite. It has a chilly atmosphere, which I recognize a lot from life, while still feeling cozy, and the penguins are so cute. The murder mystery the game takes you on is also always a fun, unexpected treat for a Mario game. 10 out of 10. Now, you might be surprised by the next picture I have, because honestly, it's not like much of an area, but I have to mention Snow Trail because just look at it. It is so beautiful. I love the ambiance of the music and the atmosphere, and it just nails like walking down a street covered in snow when it's like a little bit dark out or whatever. It's just, I love it. Okay. More plot relevant is Starborn Valley. It's one of the smallest towns in the game, with just having one screen and like I think just 3 or 4 houses, but its lore and the music make it an absolute delight to visit. The Ninjas, Star Kids, and Toads are also adorable. My only complaint is that I wish there was a little bit more to do here to justify coming back a bit more often. It's a crime that you only come once in the main plot, and then I think there's a letter, and that's it. You never have to come back here if you don't want to. Which I want to. Yeah. The dungeon of the chapter is the Wondrous Crystal Palace. It's a really amazing dungeon. I love how it uses the theme of mirrors for the puzzles, as well as the duplighosts. It's got like silliness in it, while also being really mysterious and having a great abandoned atmosphere. It could use a little less blue. I like the blue a lot, just like a tad, but otherwise it is really great and a really good dungeon. Leading up to the boss of the Crystal Palace, the Crystal King. The Crystal King does suffer a little bit from the fact that he's not really mentioned up until the moment that he appears. And that's not really a mention, it's just that he appears and you're like, ah, this is a guy. So he doesn't really have too much build-up. It would have been neat if like maybe, what was it, Merle? Yeah, Merle. It's hard to remember all the Merle names. But Merle in Starborn Valley had maybe there was like a legend about him, or like Mertamina, is that her name? The one in the Star Shrine? If she had mentioned him specifically, but like, you know, vaguely, that would have been a nice way to allude to him without taking away his intrigue and mystery. That said, he's a really fun fight and has a nice challenge to him. And he does fit in with the fact that there's a lot of mystery in the dungeon itself too. But yeah, I think that the biggest weakness is just the fact that he kind of comes out of nowhere. But he does have a nice presence just in the battle alone, so I do think he's a bit stronger than like Lava Piranha or something. He's also very blue, but he has some purple, so it helps. And now we're at the last chapter. Much like Snow Road, I mentioned Starway because I just look at it, it is beautiful and it is perfect and it is just so pretty. I love the way the path sparkles, the little pillars before the heaven, the stars hanging as if they're hanging by strings. It is so good. I love it so much. This is one of those places that when I was a kid, it made me want to design a Paper Mario hotel. It's so pretty. Ignore the fact that I accidentally went to the last picture. It's fine. Speaking of pretty and beautiful and wonderful, I'm not kidding when I say Starhaven is one of the most beautiful areas, in my opinion, in all of gaming. It's so serene and colorful, and I just want to live there. Little huts with stars, and the like sparkly door, and even their chairs are great. The trees, the flowers, the floor. God, the little curtain in the sky, it's perfect. That's one thing, oh my gosh, I just realized. If I have money in the future and like a house, I should make my room look like Starhaven. Oh, goals, I have to write that down somewhere. It is so beautiful, I love it. And then like the Star Spirit Temple, oh my god. My only complaint is that it's so small. Just like, give me one more screen, please. I love it so much. Oh, I love that the like stars are also just a tiny bit different from the Star Kids. It's a nice little detail that honestly they really didn't have to do, but they did. And it makes it even more perfect. Okay. The Dungeon of the End. Bowser's Castle. It does not disappoint. All your partners get a chance to shine, your enemies are on high alert, the music builds and builds until you get further in. That's how the SX could have used just a bit more flair. As Gumbario says, Bowser's interior design sense is awful. But it works really well as it is. Oh my god! Sorry! Oh my god! Adept mentioned Twink, which apparently Automod is like, that's a bad word. Oh, poor Twink. Oh, poor Twink. I've also wanted to see Twink come back as a full partner. It would be great. But we're nearing the end, so it's the moment you've all been waiting for. We've got to mention the big man himself. Hey, Junior Trooper. You thought I forgot about him, didn't you? Oh my gosh. Junior Troopa is a really interesting rival character in that you can actively see just how much he's trying to adapt in order to beat you. I love that Gumbaria points out that he like orders stuff over the internet. That is just hilarious to me. Also, his character has a wonderful balance of making you want to punch him, but also still allowing you to possibly cheer for him for at least like a little bit, just out of the sheer tenacity alone. Like the fact that he swims after you over the ocean twice, or like when he's scared in the Forever Forest, it's like there's just enough there that you can be like, oh, poor little dude. But also to be like, oh my god, get out of here. I know. Dip says, I wish the final Junior Trip had all of his forms at the same time rather than switching. That is fair. It was probably a bit hard to like implement that though, if I had to guess. Where was I? I have my little notes here. Yeah. I know some people find his overthrowing the Koopa Bros in Bowser's Castle to be a divisive move. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm not as big a fan of the Koopa Bros as other people seem to be, so I found that fine. Like, it would have been neat to see them again, but I thought I am always a fan of going for a joke, and even though I'm not a huge Junior Troopa fan, but like, it is funny. It is funny. Like, I cannot help but admire the fact that they stuck with the bit, and that Junior Troopa came in, and then after you beat him, the door is like, wait, but you were supposed to beat the Koopa Bros, but then he beat the Koopa Bros, so if you beat him, does that mean you beat the Koopa Bros? Like, it's so funny, and perfectly in line with, how much the game, like, leans towards humor, you know? Like, at most, if someone was like, there has to be the Koopa Bros rematch, I'd say make that like a post-game thing, because there isn't any post-game in this game. So that would have been a great post-game thing, you know? And you can have your cake and eat it too. Now, if he had pushed Bowser away, that would have been too much. But the Koopa Bros, it's just like, yeah, to me, I'm just like, they were just another boss. I was like, yeah, it's been like a while and stuff, but like, would there have been as much outrage if Toon Koopa had showed up, or like tub of lava or something? Piranha? Lava piranha? I don't know, it's just like, he has been showing up the whole game. It just makes sense to me that it's like... Also the fact that he followed you the entire way to the flying castle, again, sheer tenacity. It's amazing. Also, we were talking about Twink coming back as like a full-grown Star Spirit as a partner. That said, I'm waiting for the Paper Mario game that goes back to the turn-based battle system, and Junior Chupa is the main antagonist. I think that would be hilarious. But enough about Junior Chupa, we are going to talk about Peach's Castle. From Mario's perspective. It isn't a huge area for Mario, it's mostly just like a set piece, but gosh, it works wonders as a final layer to walk through to get to the last battle. It's such a perfect bookend from the beginning to, well, the end. Throughout the game, you've gotten familiar with the location through the Peach interludes, and seeing it so quiet and so lifeless is so perfect for building the tension. You know Bowser's in there, as well as Peach, and you gotta find him. Adept says, all Junior Chupa as a partner, or alternatively, Junior Chupa as a partner for some teeth splash teamwork. That would be hilarious. He could just like use his different forms. I don't think he ever would though, because he'd be like Bowser. Like it is more likely if like Bowser has joined Mario, and that is more believable, I think, than Junior Chupa joining Mario. For some reason, I always remembered Peach's Castle being full of enemies when you got there. A whole second half of the. Nope, there's nobody there. I mean, it could have been neat with enemies, but yeah, no. Yeah, it's cool how it recreates the Super Mario 64 race. So I love Peach's Castle. It's so good. Now we talk about Bowser. Ooh boy, Bowser. The fact that you first fight him in the same spot at the start of the game and they haven't fixed the window yet, it's just a wonderful like callback, and it lets you use the star beam to its full potential right away. So you get that great satisfaction of finally facing him and beating him on fair ground before they go to the final arena and you realize Cammy had a plan to counteract you. The moment when you get the Peach Beam to triumph over Bowser's extra power is so great, and Bowser's fight is an utterly fantastic final boss, but with the way the AI works, and it just like does different moves depending on how the situation is going. Like he has 99 HP, and I would say he's harder than some other bosses with more HP in future entries. Like he's just that good. And last but not least, in terms of the story, we've got to talk about the parade and the scene at the end. It is such a